So you've bent over, tied up your shoes, or you're trying to pick something up, or just randomly you're laying there and you feel your low back go out, or it pops, or something tweaks, and now you're wondering what you can do to make it better. That's what we're gonna be having trouble speaking today. That's what we're gonna be covering on today's video. Not just the exercises, but the reasoning behind the exercises, so you have a clear understanding of what to avoid and what to do. But before that, hey guys, I'm Dr. Kresimir, a chiropractor here in London, Ontario, Canada. I help people live extraordinary lives through the power of structural chiropractic care and life by design principles. Please give this video a like, a share, subscribe to the channel, and all of the other stuff that serves me. I'm joking. Obviously, I try my best to provide value, but seriously, it's free for you and it means a lot to us. So, are going to be talking about, why I recommend the things that I recommend, and from what I've seen clinically, right? This isn't just textbook information. I've seen one or two people come in with this problem. So typically what happens is you've injured your back, you pick something up, and you're like, oh my God, this doesn't feel right. Maybe the pain's going down your leg, something like that. And your first line of thinking, and it's not an incorrect line of thinking, it's what we've all been taught, is let's stretch it away, right? So typically the stretches are things like, I'm gonna go back, I'm gonna rock my knees up, really, really tight and really, really hard. And then I'm gonna try to, go to one side and see if I can, pop and crack my spine a little bit. And that might not be the best strategy, and here's why. Number one, you don't actually know what tissues are damaged. When we look at the low back and we look at that type of pain, there's a vast array of possibilities that could be causing the pain that you're experiencing. Here's the part that's even crazier than that, is what you're reacting to. So what's actually causing that sensation of that sharp pain or that stabby pain or that weak pain is mostly the inflammatory process. So you're reacting to the inflammatory process, you're not necessarily reacting to the damage that's actually done to your spine. And doing those exercises with those twists and with those bends, it could be putting a force into your spine that's more damaging than helpful. But here's the thing, because it's motion. So there's a system of nerves, it's more complicated than this, but there's a system of nerves called nociceptors. They carry the pain. When you put movement into your spine, even if it's the incorrect movement, you tend to feel better in the short term. This is why when people stretch, they feel better. This is why when they go see a traditional chiropractor who does that pretzel move on every single person, whether they need it or not, who puts them on their side, pops and cracks their back, they feel better in the short term. That might not be the best strategy in the long term. It's really important that you understand the mechanics of your spine and what tissues are damaged and what tissues in this case are affected. The fact that you're having that type of pain means that something's gone wrong and you need to figure that out. So you need to find somebody who is an expert at analyzing and assessing your spine. But in the meantime, what can you do? So the first thing that you can do, and again, it's hard, based on what I just told you, it's hard to have a recipe that's gonna be one size fits all. But the first thing that you can do is you can do the cat and camel stretch. So the cat and camel stretch is the one where we go into, I'll move a little bit back, we're in this position here, and we're gonna be arching our back fully this way with our head up, and then we're gonna be going back all the way up this way. So it's nothing romantic, but you're gonna start out with gentle movement, not with sharp up and down movement. So when things are tight and inflamed, your first couple, might just be nice and slow and controlled, and they might only look like this. Like it might look like you're barely moving, but again, as those mechanoreceptors start to fire and then things continue to improve, you'll get more and more motion. And because you're being gentle and because you're being controlled, not only are you going to get some of the movement back, but it's going to help clear some of the muscles out and not cause any structural damage to your spine. The other one that you can do, for most people, it's not a movement issue with their lower backs. Their low backs, in terms of the range of motion of the lower backs, moves fine. It's the issue with your hips. If your hips are tight, if your hips don't move properly, what happens is your lower spine, so your lumbar spine, has to move more in order to get the range of motion that you need. So again, there's always exceptions, but typically with people that have a ton of low back problems, or they're constantly tweaking their back, if we were to look at your hips are immobile, or they're not moving as much as they should be moving. So I'm gonna grab a chair. I'll be right back. So a great and really simple exercise to do for this is an airplane. Now again, if you're young and you have young kids, my kids have no problem, doing their full airplane exercises. For old guys like me, it's a little bit tougher. So I want something to hold on to. Nice knee bend. I want my core nice and tight. I'm firm on the chair. I'm going to be focusing on my left hip, so the one that's closest to you. My right leg is going to come back. You see that leg is straight. You see that my spine is straight and my core is tight. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up that hip, nice and slow and controlled, and then I'm going to close that hip. And I'm going to do 6 aside. And the goal is to help mobilize and put more motion into my hips, which is going to take the pressure and the tension off my low spine. I would try that. You can't overdo those exercises. They're simple movement exercises. They should not be putting any extra strain on your back. Do those consistently and find somebody who can help you actually figure out what's happening underneath the surface to help you create a plan to heal your low back. If you have any questions or comments, please post them below. I'd love to help if I can. Have a great day, and I will talk to you soon.